Hello and welcome back to my channel. We are going to discuss a few things and hopefully help wake some of you up and enlighten the ones that are waking up or are awake. If you're awake, it's just going to resonate with you. And if you're asleep, you're going to do one of two things. One, you're going to say, I'm awake. I know what's going on in the world, and that and you're not gonna like what I have to say, or you just have no clue, and you're like, huh? Either way, I hope some parts of this resonates with you, and I'm just winging it, just so we could figure it out together and, just take it for what it's worth. Just telling you what's in my head. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we're going to talk about dancing with the devil and dining with the demons and what that's going to get you in life. Everything of this world is his, Satan's. It was given to him for a time. And y'all are, not all of you, some of you stopped doing the things you're not supposed to do, but a lot of you are trying to negotiate, trying to, oh, I could do this, or I could do a little bit of that. No, you can't. And you're bargaining. You're bargaining with God. That's what you're doing. And he ain't digging that at all. And y'all need to realize, just as myself included, because these are all things I found out, obviously through learning. So the things that we're going to talk about are things that you aren't going to be happy with. And I know I'm going to sound a little stern and a little, not so nice. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to help wake you up if you're asleep. Because by now, you should know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Now, there are things you can do and things you can't do. Because people that are awake, they understand these things. You cannot dine here and have fun, go to Vegas, which you can't do anymore anyway. But the TV, I know y'all are watching the TV. That all of it is indoctrination. All of it belongs to him. There's so much in the movies and it's just and the music. You're sitting in your car or at home and you're bebopping around, moving your body and just listening and singing the songs. You don't even know what you're singing. Every single song is a chant to him. That's what it is. So if you think you're going to be down here bebopping away to that music, and all of a sudden Lord's going to come and, oh, I follow the Lord, and think he's going to say, beam me up, Scotty. You're going to say that and he's going to take you home? You was just dancing to the devil. Dancing with the devil. Isn't there a song like that? I used to love it too. I used to love all that stuff until I realized what I was flipping doing. Every single thing you do, you worship one or the other. By your actions. And if this, what I'm saying, convicts you, you might want to think about yourself and not think about coming on my channel writing anything nasty. Because that's your Holy Spirit convicting you. Telling you, pay attention. You cannot dine with demons here. You cannot play in their amusement park. You cannot listen to the music in their amusement park. That's what this whole place is. It's Satan's amusement park. That's all it is. And y'all fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. We all did. Some of us have woken up, though. And we're trying to tell you to wake up. Stop watching the TV. Stop listening to that music because you're worshiping Satan when you sing those songs. The songs, if you follow any one artist, their first songs in the beginning are romantic and great, and they're falling in love, and everything's wonderful, and then all of a sudden they start mellowing out a little bit, and they're nice, cool songs, catchy and all that. Then all of a sudden they start going down to them losing their first love and the heartbreak and all of this sadness. You know what they lost? They're realizing that they lost their first love. Because now they're so involved with Satan, they're so involved with the rituals, they're so involved with the indoctrination, they're so involved with their sacrifices, and a lot of them sacrificed their family members. But they realized they lost their first love, Jesus, Yeshua, because that's the lie they tell them. Now they could turn from it and come back, but then they take them out and they don't want to die. People don't even understand what death is. Why are you crying when a loved one dies? Cry if they're not saved, yes. And pray that he has mercy on them. Cry because they died. Cry because you're going to miss them. Cry because you're not going to be able to do those fun things with them anymore. But it's for a short time. If they have the Father, they're going to heaven and you're going to see them again. When people die, it should be a glorious thing. Not a sad thing. Yeah, it could put your life in perils financially and all that. But he says, trust in him and he'll give you rest. I have not mourned my husband. I haven't mourned him. We cry because we miss him. I cry because I can't fix the dang vacuum cleaner. I cry because I didn't know how to use any of his tools and I'm trying to learn. And I wish he was here. I don't mourn him though, because he's in a million times better place than he was here. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to understand because we are taught that you need to cry and mourn and be sad. Well, yeah, be sad because you're going to miss them, but I mean, knowing that they got to get out of here, I mean, that's supposed to be a glorious thing. Jesus came here to show us, to prove to us, when you die, you live. Okay, so let me read to you the definition of the word verse. Let me tell you something. It was not easy to find because when you type in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it talks about technology and stuff. I mean, and every time I went to a page, it would flip to something else. You guys, God said everything will be known in due time, and the idiot don't want us to know. And I'm telling you, every time I try and find the definition, it flips everywhere, my computer. So I finally got settled on one, and I just want you to hear this, okay, and try and understand. Verse, a poem, especially one that rhymes, is called verse. The children's author, Dr. Seuss, wrote in verse, and the regular rhymes of The Cat in the Hat helped generations of children learn to read. You know, I've learned over the last few months that just about all the books we read that are like this, that are children's books, these are all chants. These are all anything that rhymes. Okay, so let me go on. In music, a verse is a section of a song that's often followed by a chorus. Many people can sing the chorus to "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," but very few realize there are also verses, including one that starts, "Katie Casey was baseball mad." Verse comes from the Latin word versus, or versus, which means a line of writing, and is based on the Proto-Indo-European root wer, W-E-R, meaning to turn or bend. Did you hear that? It means to turn or bend, to twist, to lie, or to
confused. That's what I'm getting in my spirit out of it, okay? Now, if you go to the Bible and read Psalms, or find where some of the old saints were singing to the Lord. None of it rhymes. They're singing their prayers. Your prayers don't rhyme, do they? Do you sit there and go and make a rhyme out of your prayer? Okay, so you know the story about Joseph, that he had dreams that his brothers would worship him one day, and they sold him. They got mad. They sold him, and he ended up in what do you call Egypt, I think it was, and he just became like a ruler, and you know they even though he was you know not one of them, they still they liked him a lot. Anyway, his dad loved him so much above the other children that he made him a coat of many colors. Well, Dolly Parton writes a song about a coat made of many colors, and it's a play off of this whole story. But she's talking about her mom making her a coat of many colors because they were poor. Let me read you a couple of the verses, because it's the same thing. It's from the Bible. They just twist and turn everything. That's what Satan does. He twists and turns everything. Okay. There were rags of many colors, but every piece was small, and I didn't have a coat, and it was way down in the fall. Mama sewed the rags together, sewing every piece with love. She made my coat of many colors that I was so proud of. As she sewed, she told a story from the Bible she had read about a coat of many colors Joseph wore, and then she said, "Perhaps this coat will bring you good luck and happiness." And I just couldn't wait to wear it, and Mama blessed it with a kiss. This whole song is about that story. This whole song is about rhymes. This is reversing everything, okay? To you, the average listener that is not awake, it's just a beautiful song about the Bible. And you can listen to it because it's about the Bible. No, lie. These are not what we are to be listening to, okay? Our Father doesn't rhyme when he talks. We are not supposed to rhyme. Rhyme is like imbecile. Rhyming is like, this is the way Satan talks in circles and rhymes and chanting and all of that, you guys. You have to understand this, the way he works. We like the songs because they rhyme. They go in circles in our brain so that we can't stop it and go into a straight line and make words, make meaning. Do you understand that? We are not to go in circles and circles and circles. We are to speak what we want to speak in a line. When you pray to the Father, do you rhyme? Do you rhyme? No. And stop asking him for stuff. You know? Ask him for healing, yes. Ask him to give you wisdom. But stop asking him to pay your bills. When you follow him and you do right by him, it just shows up, you guys. I cannot tell you. In my testimony, I didn't even talk about any of the gifts that I got. I just talked about me waking up, because the gifts that he gave me were so amazing. It was in the thousands, you guys, in the thousands, because I'm following him and doing what he's telling me to do. You guys, stop asking for money. Stop asking for things like that, materialistic things here. Start asking for knowledge, asking for guidance. Ask for things like that, and don't rhyme in your prayers, which I know you don't, because nobody does. But I'm just saying, turn off the music and start talking to him, and asking for the things that your soul needs, that your spirit needs, and the gifts are gonna flow like you would never believe. That's how important it is to stop listening to the music. But these celebrities or these singers, they want recognition and money and fame and to be known throughout the world so bad that they can't see the truth. They just can't. When they're singing them songs and they're practicing, what do they say? Oh, let's go back to that verse. Did you hear what I just said? Oh, let's do that verse over again. Why did they say verse? Because they're verses for Satan, for his Bible, for his word, for what he is teaching and preaching through them. Let's go back and do that verse over again when they're practicing. Did you hear me say that? Verse. And then they
found out it's real. And they found out that they sold their soul. Some of them already know, but there's a lot of them that I think are, not really tricked, but I think they're lied to. I know they're lied to. I'm going to read the Fallen One's Covenant. They're using them, and that's what it says, that they will use their own. They will use them to bring them in, which through the music and the TV. So when you're listening to that music, you're chanting to him, or you're where two are, okay? Goes both ways. When you're listening to that song and you're singing it, I don't care how fun it might be. I don't care how innocent they might sound. Print it out and read it. Don't sing it, read it. And then decide what it says. Because you don't become anybody in this world unless you serve the rotten one. Okay? I'm no different than y'all. We all have our demons. There's a demon for every action. For everything that you do. You think you need that drink or that glass of wine because it calms you down? What's it called? Spirits. Liquor, spirits. Because when you drink it allows, the Holy Spirit leaves. Cannot be in your body. He leaves. And something else comes in. That's why when you see these drunk people, it's not them. It's the idiot Nephilim. It's their spirits. Those are your haunted houses. Those are your hauntings, and the monster in the dark. They're all fallen angels. Or the Nephilim, the children of the fallen angels. They were an abomination. Their spirits had nowhere to go. So, when next time you turn on the music, you start singing and dancing, just know that you're singing and dancing in unison with the person that's singing that song, and you're worshiping Satan. That's what you're doing. You don't want to hear it, too bad. It is what it is. The TV, same thing. Same thing. You can watch YouTube. Those are real people. Just be careful what you watch. Stop watching the TV. And stop listening to the music. Because if you think you could do all of that and play in this amusement park, and then you could leave the park and, Yeshua's going to be out at the entrance waiting for you to hop in the bus so he can take you home, ain't going to happen. He never knew you because you worship the other one. And there are so many examples that I can give you of things I'm seeing. And okay, we are the world. Michael Jackson? Yeah. Okay, well, I was shown that today. I'm doing the dishes. I'm, just doing about things. And all of a sudden that song came in my head. Not to sing it. It just came in my head. And I started saying the words in my head. And I went, oh my gosh, even that one was for Satan. We were all in unison singing that song. And they were singing about being of this world. God says don't be of the world. Live in it, but don't be of it. That song, everybody everywhere was singing it. They're going to make it a brighter day. They're going to just listen to the songs and imagine that Lucifer. Because that's who it's for. that we are all one in the world. See, you have to be able to have eyes to hear and eyes to see and ears to hear, because that just popped in my head. And because I was wondering, well, is it really wrong? Every other day I might think that, is it really wrong to listen to music? And yeah, it is. When that song popped in my head yesterday, and I went through a couple of the verses, I went, oh dear, oh my goodness, this is for Satan. They sing about his world here, and we're all going to be as one here. Oh my goodness, you guys. Y'all need to stop listening to music. You need to talk to your children. If they're young babies, young kids, take their cell phones away. They have no business with that stuff. No business at all. But you give it to them as a pacifier. Your teenagers aren't going to let it go. They'll probably go nuts. Well, it's been really on my heart about the music specifically, that you cannot worship the demigod of this world and think that the Father's going to take you to dine at his table, because you will have filthy rags on. These holidays, Valentine's Day. Oh no, I gave that. It was for my wife because I love her. Or it was for my husband. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what you feel in your heart. Your heart's a liar. He says that. You're doing all the traditions of them. Going and collecting the Easter eggs. Y'all gonna do that? Maybe sneak around your backyard, have a little Easter egg hunt. How about you don't do that? How about you just celebrate Passover? How about you just celebrate that? And not have the baskets and the candy and the toys and the gifts and all that other stuff that comes along, and the ham. How about you don't do any of that? How about you not celebrate his days? Even 4th of July is his. All the firecrackers and rocket launchers and all that stuff, all for Satan. Because they did not sign on the 4th. I think they signed on the 1st or the, I don't know, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. One of those days is when they did it. But it's not for you. Every single thing they give us to celebrate, my goodness, it has nothing to do with what they say. But in unison, they get the whole world to follow. So you should not be celebrating any of those days. Not Christmas, not Easter, not 4th of July, not Halloween for sure. Trunk or treat at the church, please. My goodness. How far up their butt are their heads? Thanksgiving? Nope. They came here. Because all you aboriginals, blacks, Mexican, Puerto Ricans, I don't care. They gave us those names. Black, African, Mexican, Hispanic. They gave Portuguese, Puerto Rican. They gave us those names to divide us. We are all one family of Noah. Noah came from Adam. We are all one family. We came from the 12 tribes of Judah. We were put here in the Americas. This was our land of milk and honey. This is the only place where everything flows, you guys. We were put here. This is our land. If you could understand that, wrap your head around that. There's so much proof of it. There's a book called Jesus in Ancient America. There's Columbus going to discover Israel or something like that, because we're Israel. Israel's not a place. They made it a place to deceive you. We are Israel, you guys. We are. But they lie to divide, just like they lied about all the different religions that are out there. There's no religion. We are all one. We follow the way.
That's it. Stop calling yourself a Southern Baptist or a Protestant or this and that. It's all lies to divide. My church is right. No, my church is right. No, my church. Y'all are wrong. You just need to follow the way. Follow him. That's it. And I don't care the color of your skin. If you're a human and you believe in the Father, or you believe that he sent his son here to die for your sins and rose 3 days later and ascended to heaven, you're his. If you don't dance with the devil. Okay? You cannot dance with the devil and expect to think that you're going. And I see all these people and all these chat sites and, the chat feeds and stuff, and oh, I can't wait till he comes. I'm ready. And as they listen to the music, they celebrate the days they want to celebrate, Christmas and all that, because you can't give up your toys, can't give up the presents. Those presents on Christmas are more important than the gift that he gave you to be able to go home. That's what you're telling him. You're telling him that, well, in my heart, I'm celebrating Jesus. And you're getting all those gifts, and you're watching your kids get them gifts, sending them straight to hell too, because there will be children in hell. You're doing all of that instead of accepting the gift he gave you. The one true gift that allows you to live forever in the kingdom with him. The gift of life. Not here. You're here, you're dead. We're all here because we're going to die if we don't find him and follow him home. It's like we're all lost. We all ran away. We're all lost. And we're in a slumber. We're in Satan's amusement park. And everything. What do you think Pinocchio was all about? They're telling you. Pinocchio's telling you your story. All of it, all the movies, everything is designed to indoctrinate. But you pick up what they're putting down. You don't pick up what the Father's putting down. You came here. You know that movie Little Monsters? With, what's that kid? He did it also a TV show where he was a young doctor. I forget his name. But there was a movie called Little Monsters, and a monster came up from under his bed. They became buddies, and he kept taking him down underneath. Well, that's what's going on here. They mimic everything. Heaven and hell is mimicked everywhere. And if you stay there, if he stays underground too long, he becomes one of them. What do you think's happening to these people with the masks and the indoctrination? If they stay too long and don't wake up, they're going to get that jab. And they will have a reprobate mind. They will not be able to return to the Father. I had to change this 49 seconds of this video because I said something that will get my channel kicked off, and that was talking about changing if they stick you, and it changes your thing that runs your whole body, the important thing, it has 3 letters. The person that actually said that it does that is the one that runs the platform that has a face and then reads like a book. And I said that, so that could get me kicked off. So I had to replace it with this, but you could read it in the slides. And once you do that, you're gone. You're not his. You have no chance of redemption. Nothing. No saying I'm sorry, no nothing. Right now, that you're human, you have every chance of going home. But eventually, someday soon, the door of probation is going to close. And you will stay where you were at. You cannot be double-minded. The Bible talks about that. So,
again, I don't, at this point, the color of your skin makes no difference. It did way back when because of, the Aboriginals, and it does matter today because we are the 12 tribes. But all the ones that are not are still he still loves you. Why? Why does he still love you? Because even if you came from Satan's seed, from Cain, he created Lucifer first. Lucifer's the title. He created him first. He loved him. He adored him. I remember I was mowing one day out here. We got a couple acres we got to mow, and I was mowing. And when I mow is when I get deep in thought. And this is before Charlie got sick, and I'm out there mowing, and I started getting really sad. I started crying, and I stopped the mower because God was showing me in my heart and in my mind, he was showing me how much he loved him, and that we shouldn't be angry with him. We shouldn't. He's our brother because he was created just the way we were. And can you imagine that he actually has to take out his own child? Imagine one of your children. Look at your kids right now. Imagine that one of them is turning the other ones away, and you have to make a choice. Let all of them go, or save the few and kill the one, because that's what he has to do. He has to kill one of his own children. Do you think he's going to enjoy it? Do you think he's going to be happy? He's coming here with a wrath because he's angry at what he did. But if you think for 1 second that it's not going to hurt him, he cried when they left to go to the darkness. Him and the angels that followed him, he cried. He put down his throne. He put down the scepter on the throne and walked away. Because it hurt him that they would leave him. So when I put it on this YouTuber's channel, in the comments, this one girl went in there and she's like, I rebuke you and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, she just went off on me. And I deleted the comment because I thought, maybe, people aren't ready for that. So I deleted it. But that I put in just what I told you, that, we were all created by our Father. And, granted, Satan was given the musical notes and all that, but we know how to sing and all of that. I mean, we were all created by him. Whichever way doesn't matter. We are all his children. And I put that in there. And I said, it's really sad when you really think about it, that Satan is our brother. He is the oldest of all of us. He's the oldest brother. And God has to come here and take him out. He's got to come here and kill him. And all the children that follow him, all the fallen angels, they were all his children. Just as much as we were. That's why if you do the things that they're doing, listening to the music, watching the TV, gambling, drinking, smoking, all these things are all devices to stop you from going to heaven, to going home. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go home. And Satan is so full of himself. And he's so angry because he doesn't get to go home ever. The fallen angels don't get to go home ever, and they're angry. They asked Enoch, please, after they sinned with the human daughters, they asked Enoch, please go talk to God. Please ask him to let us come home. And God said no. So they're angry. And to get back at God, they don't care if we're their family. They have evil minds now. And they'd rather see us dead and suffer before they allow us to go back home. And that's what this was all about. That's a whole fight. That's what it's all about. Is God wouldn't forgive them for what they did. They created an abomination, the Nephilim children, the giants that were eating us. There's proof of it everywhere. Even Abe Lincoln even talked about it in a speech that in the early 1900s they were finding giant bones everywhere. And the Smithsonian Institute covered it all up. The elite, the idiots. But that's what the whole fight is. That's why we have science and the truth. Satan wanted to do science because he wanted to come to the darkness. He was drawn to the darkness. So if you think for 1 second that he's going to come here and he's just so happy that he gets to kill his own child, come on, you guys. Like, get serious about this. And stop dancing around. He's going to come here to take out his firstborn. His firstborn. He has to come here and take him out. And the other children, the fallen angels, and their children, the Nephilim spirits, that are going to be inhabited into men. Their spirits are going into men. They're already in a lot of them. All your singers, they all have it. If you're anybody in this world, you've got that demon in you. So a lot of the demons already have human hosts. But he has to come here and take them all out to save the few that are going to wake up and go home. Because a lot of people aren't going to wake up. No matter what I say, no matter what anybody else says, they're not going to wake up. They're double-minded. They would rather live in this world with all the fun and the toys and the games and everything that they provided. They'd rather stay here. And instead of going home, instead of really understanding what they're doing, understanding what hell is going to be like. Because they will suffer for 1,000 years, and then he takes them out after that, I think, for good. But they would rather have the gifts of this world than the one true gift that God gave us. And you tell me that's going to be easy for him. You have to look at things differently, you guys. A lot of people don't go to church and they don't read the Bible because of how they made it sound. They made it sound like, oh, you read the Bible. Oh, you go to church. They make it, some people go, but then they live in the world. A lot of people don't go because, oh, I'm not going to get into all that religious stuff. Well, guess what? Our Father and us, none of it has to do with religion. The Bible, none of it. That's our story. It's his story, history. It's our history. It's our story. And he's telling us how to come home. But they've indoctrinated y'all to think that if you're too religious, no one's going to like you. Or I'm not religious. And some people wear that as a badge of honor. Just like the death, M-A-S-K. They wear it as a badge of honor. And shame on them for doing it. Because they're asleep. But when I say they, I'm talking about Satan and his idiots, okay? They made religion a bad word. They made going to church something bad, you know. Well, he wants you to go because all the churches are lying anyway. They ain't telling you the truth. Because if they were telling you the truth, they'd be telling you what we're all trying to yell and scream at the rooftops. But they'll lose their 501c3s. They can't do that. And care more about money than you. All of it was designed to keep you from reading. All of it was designed to keep you dumbed down. To make you look at religion as, oh no, because then I can't do this and I can't do that. Well, maybe you shouldn't be doing this or that. But if you stop thinking about it that way and start putting it in reality of everything that's happened on this earth, everything that's happening now on this earth, if you start putting the pieces together, it stops becoming a religious home, and all that, putting your hands together and putting your head down in prayer and you got to, we do that to speak to him. We do that out of love and honoring our Father. But they taught you guys that are asleep that, oh, I can't do that. I don't do that. You're almost proud of it, some of you guys. But if you stop thinking about it that way, pray to the Father. Tell him you want to understand the Bible. Ask him to give you knowledge. Ask him to remove the scales from your eyes, because if you cannot do that, and he knows if you're truthful or not, so you can't lie to him, he will remove the scales. And that book reads like our story. My brother asked me the other day, he said, I try and read the Bible and it's like babble to me. And I said, because it's not open to you. He's like, really? I said, yeah. I read it like that too. It was always babble to me until he removed the scales from my eyes. And now when I read it, it's a story. And he goes, huh. And I said, it doesn't mean anyone's better than anybody else, but there are only few that will find the narrow doorway, the narrow path. And everybody right now is on the broad road. You have to want to wake up. You have to want to not be in this world. You have to want to go home, because this is not our home. And when you look at it that way and you start, what if you were lost? Let me ask you something, all you non-believers out there. Let's say you went on a trip and you were going through, let's just say the desert or the Amazon, wherever. And you lose your map, you lose everything. But all you have is what people around you are showing you. And, go this way. And then you go that way. No, no, it's over this way. Oh, no, it's over that way. And the next person, I know what you're looking for. It's over there. And they just have you, and then all of a sudden you just say, screw it. And you make up a house and you live there. You just stay where you're at. And you start enjoying the things of that area. And then your children the same. And their children the same. And all of a sudden, all of that is all indoctrinated into you from way back. And you forgot about going home. You forgot about looking for your way home. Because you're enjoying where you're at. You're good to go. Well, he's coming. He'll take me when he gets here. Really? That's not how he works. Our ancestors, way back when, knew the truth. And all these generations have been dumbed down, have been led astray, until you just finally put up roots and you say, well, this is my life. This is the world. This is what we live in. You don't even say that. You just take it as what it is. And you stop looking to go home. You need to start looking on how to go home before it's too late and you don't have a choice anymore. You need to wake up. It's time to wake up. When you tell people that, they take it derogatory, like you're trying to hurt them and say that you're better than them. We're not. We're telling you it's time for you to wake up. If you don't wake up, where you're going to go? I don't even wish that on Satan, but he's going to get that. Him and the fallen angels and the Nephilim, they're going to get that. That is their punishment. It doesn't have to be yours. So when we say wake up, we're not saying wake up and smell the coffee. See how they make games of it? The lies? And they joke about it. That's what they're doing. They're laughing in your face. Yeah, let's tease them and tell them to wake up and smell the coffee. And everybody for years went around saying, wake up and smell the coffee. I've fallen and I can't get up. Do you hear me? I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh, no, that was a commercial about a lady that fell and they have this button you can push and they come in. I've fallen and I can't get up. You have fallen and they're laughing at you because you can't get up, because you won't get out of this world. He said, live in the world, but don't be of it. Every single thing they say, everything they teach you, everything, it's to keep you here. It's to mock God. It's to mock you so that you will never wake up to go home. Do you understand that? It's to keep you here so that you don't get to go home. He does not want you to go home because he can't go home. So he'll be damned. Did you hear me? He will be damned instead of letting us go home. Did you hear that? So when I say wake up, I'm not saying you better wake up and smell the coffee. I'm saying you need to wake up. You need to ask God to wake you up. You're asleep and you don't know it though. You do not know you're asleep. I didn't know I was asleep until I woke up, and then I thought, oh my gosh, all these years I've been doing all these things, and when you wake up, you don't want to do them anymore. Because you understand what you're doing. You understand what the world's about. You understand what heaven's about. You understand how they parallel each other. And you understand everything. Not everything, but he teaches you as you learn exponentially, quicker and quicker and quicker. So you don't need to retain all the information because he's giving it to you. It's just going to stay. It's just there. I'm not saying you need to wake up to be derogatory towards you or mean to you. It's literal. Well, I like watching football. I'm glad they have. Sports are all a lie. They already know who's going to win. It's already been determined. Everything is designed for you to spend your money to keep you poor so that they can get that money. Oh my goodness, you guys are not going to believe this. My son came in here and he said, Mom, there's a lady outside who wants to talk to you. Well, I looked through the window and it looked like somebody I met the other night, which story for another day, but I went out there, and she was not from the senses, but the senses as far as like, you know, do you have running water, hot, cold? Do you have this? They want to know everything that you got. And I'm just listening to her, and I'm like, uh-huh. And she goes, now, you don't have to answer anything, but, you know, this is just, she sat down like she got her little laptop, and she sat down like she was going to get some info. And I told her, well, I said, I prefer not to answer. And she said, well, can I get the address? I said, if you don't know where you're at, don't expect me to give it to you. And when we started talking, I asked her, I said, can I ask you something? I said, if you are, then the answer will be yes right away. I said, are you awake? And she goes, awake? And I said, never mind, you're not. I said, do you understand what you're doing? And she says, well, I'm doing this. And I said, do you understand who you work for? I said, I don't think the Father's looking highly upon your job right now. I said, if you do not know the time we're in, she goes, oh, I know what time we're in. She's wearing a mask too. We're in the middle of nowhere. She's wearing a mask. And I said, you know what that's all about? And she goes, oh, well, we don't want to catch COVID. And I said, oh gosh, if I hear COVID again. I said, you're wearing your death mask. And she just looked at me and I said, do you understand how God created you, how he made you? He put a filter in your body so that you could breathe in the good and breathe out the bad. You're breathing in the bad continuously. People are going to get help and they're perishing because they have bacteria in their balloons in their chest. A 4-year-old boy a few weeks ago almost died. And she goes, oh, and I said, do you think God wants you to have that on? Breathing in the poison that he designed you to push out? Well, I have to work for my job. And I said, you're in the middle of nowhere. And then we started talking about, you know, I said, she goes, well, she started getting on the all, well, I follow, the Bible says, if you believe, and this is what we all hear, right? If you believe that Jesus came here and da-da-da. And I said, so just believing is going to get you there. You could dance with the devil here. This is exactly what I'm talking to you guys about. You could dance with the devil here and think that he's going to pull up in the bus and take you. You believe that. You could sin all you want. Dance with the devil here and he's still going to take you. I said, let me ask you something. Did you celebrate Christmas? And she didn't say nothing. And do you celebrate Easter with the eggs? Well, I didn't celebrate Christmas, but I do. I celebrate Passover. And I said, well, let me ask you something. Do you cook a ham? This doesn't have to do with the clean eating. Did you cook a ham? The significance of the ham is what killed Talmud. And she gave birth to his son on December 25th and then had an incestuous affair. And that's what the whole Valentine's thing's about. It's all connected. I said, I said, she goes, well, I don't believe that babies aren't going to go to hell. And I said, no, they're not held accountable 8 years and up. They're held accountable. Well, there are people that don't know things and they might still do them. And I said, and they're not going to go to hell. And I says, it's people perish for lack of knowledge. The road is narrow. Narrow. Very few find it. So many people right now are having dreams of the rapture, and they're saying when they get in the sky that they see like 8 or 9 people in cities. Cities, you guys. 8, 9 people in cities going up. That's it. His people perish for lack of knowledge. So I tell her this, and she's trying to do the old, well, I believe in my heart. And I said, no, his people perish for lack of knowledge. I said, what you're doing right now is you're working for Satan. The government wants to know everything we have. I said, and there's another thing. He's telling us to start storing water. Not just food, water. They're going to turn the water off. Do you know who owns the water? And she's like, no. I said, the Rothschilds. She didn't even know who they were. She said, oh, well, where do they live? Do they live around here? And I went, oh, dear God. I said, no, the Rothschilds are one of the so-called elite families that own everything. They own everything. People think, oh, I have my own well. Well, it's not yours. It's water that's under the ground. You don't think they know where it starts? They're going to plug it up. It's all ready to go. All these people with wells are not storing water because they think they're going to have water. God told me, first of all, to have water because we're going to need it for a few months. That's why all the animals are going to perish. He's going to take them from us because they're going to drink the water. The water is going to be bad from the red dust that's coming. And you're not going to be able to eat them. That's why he says store food and store water. The water will eventually come clean. The water, we will have access to the water eventually. However, no electricity. How are you going to get the water? I've been telling people, there's this pipe. You can get it at Lehman's online, Lehmans. It's a long pipe. You put down, you pull up, I think, 1.5 gallons at a time or something like that. You're going to need it, and you're going to need, however deep your well is, that's how much rope you're going to need. So, anyway, I was out there with her for about 15 minutes, and she left because I told her I'm going to do nothing. She says, you don't want to answer anything. I said, no. Why would I want the government to know anything about me? They don't need to know nothing about me. And so then she left. It was just amazing because I'm talking to you guys doing this video, and this just happened. Like, you don't know that because you don't get a skip in this. I just keep recording, but you guys, she is not awake, and she was quite shocked at the stuff we were talking about. So, why did this just happen? Why did this just happen? One of two things. Could be both. One, God wanted her to hear what I had to say. Because she was as standoffish as any of you that are, trying to figure this out and a little standoffish, and you believe you're going to heaven just because you believe, and you don't believe in repentance, and the lost book of the Bible, both him and Jesus talking about repentance. But you know how they get all defensive and everything? She wasn't really defensive, but she was saying, well, as soon as she said, well, I believe that if all you have to do is believe in Jesus. And I said, so you can dance with the devil here and you get to go? Well, you have to live a little. And I said, his people perish for lack of knowledge. Children under 8 are not held accountable. Over 8, they're held accountable. And y'all don't know this, but we are all under the Melchizedek priesthood. God's first priest was Melchizedek. We're under that priesthood. Jesus is under that priesthood. You have to be baptized under the Melchizedek priesthood. You could baptize your own family. It's not that difficult. Ain't no man better than you. Anybody in these churches that are saying, I can baptize you because I'm a priest. Those priests lie half the time anyway. You could baptize your own family members. Pray to God. Ask him to give you the priesthood for it. And then baptize your family.
I'm interrupting my video at this moment. I pulled my video down off YouTube so that I could re-record this one part when I'm speaking about the Melchizedek priesthood, I very rudely said, it's not Melchizedek, it's Melchizedek. And I wasn't trying to be snarky at anybody. A lot of people are pronouncing it Melchizedek. You can pronounce it however you want. I had no business making that statement, right or wrong. It wasn't my place. So I apologized if I hurt anybody. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I am sorry. So back to the video. Thank you.
There's a lot of things that they taught us not to do or didn't give us knowledge of it. His people perish for lack of knowledge, you guys. And I know right now a lot of you are going, oh my gosh, I was baptized in this church. I was baptized. So was I. Not only was I baptized as a child, which you shouldn't be, but I was baptized a few years ago in the Mormon church. Yeah, they baptized me for Satan. A lot of people don't understand that's who they follow, and they do. They just don't understand it because they've been indoctrinated into it. But I'll talk about the Book of Mormon and the Mormons in another video that I'm working on right now, because you're going to be surprised that that book is real. Yes, it is. And we're going to talk about that. But I think she was sent here for whatever their reasons. God wanted her to come here because she is a child of God. I could tell. But she needed more knowledge. And the information I gave her might have upset her. But I told her, next time you turn on your radio to listen to that music, every one of them, I don't care if it's a Christian singer, they're all singing, he put Lucifer in heaven. So when they pray to their God in heaven, that's what they're praying to. Well, I'm not going to my God in heaven. I'm going to my Father in the kingdom. Lucifer, Satan, was put in heaven. Below the firmament, right there. Right in the firmament. And that's who they all sing to. Even your Christian singers, because you do not get rich in this world. You do not make any. He said, sing to me. He did not tell you to listen to songs about him. He said, worship me. And they sing to him. Not listen to other people's songs about him. And they're all, if you're listening to the music, you're listening to them sing to him. You're worshiping him. So hopefully she will go home and think about what she's doing. And maybe that's why she was supposed to come here. I don't know. But, and maybe she'll wake up and maybe she'll just get rid of my information. Who knows? But they just wanted to know stuff about the property. They can go, they know. You don't think they know I've got a well. You don't think they know if I have hot and cold water. They know all that. Bunch of jackasses.
In the book of Jasher, it's not, they took that out of the Bible. In the book of Jasher, he talks to the Father through the angels. He's allowed to talk to God through the angels, and God had favor with them, so he talked to him through the angels. And in finding out that his family members are never going to get to go to heaven, only him, because he was so righteous, he said, well, better we never been born. And he said, yes, better you never been born. And he meant that. Better we had never been born. He wasn't saying that to be mean. He was saying that because he knew that they could not go back to heaven. So he came up with that whole, this whole scheme. When he came here, Yeshua told the disciples not to tell anybody who he was, not even to talk about it, because he needed complete silence from it so that he could trick Satan, because had Satan ever had them crucify him, none of this would be happening. He needed them to do exactly what they did, for him to pay the price for us, for our sins, to pay our price, so that we have now a choice. Not that we get to go home, but now we have a choice. Follow Satan or follow the Father. We didn't have a choice before. He came here and let them do what he did to him so that you would have a choice. And that's when he created us all in heaven. He could have made Lucifer obedient. He could have made us all obedient, but what the heck does he want a bunch of robots for? He don't. He wanted everybody to love him on their own terms. That's it. That's all he wanted. And that's all he's asking now. He came here and was crucified by Satan. Make no mistake, it was Satan and his little demons inside those Pharisees and everything. He allowed them to do this because that was the cost, death. Satan wanted his death. But what he didn't know was you can't kill God. You cannot kill him. So he paid the price. So now we all have a choice. That's what it was. Plain and simple.
So if you can wrap your head around that death is good, you can't take yourself out. You can't do suicide. You can't pay someone to take you out. But death is good because you die to this world, but you live in his. If you can wrap your head around that, the people that have been taken from you, your loved ones, and all that, instead of looking at it as bad, try and look at it as you have to die of this world. Get rid of this snake skin that was put on us and free your light being when you die and you go back to him. Unless you're a non-believer or evil or whatever, then you know where you're going. So if people could stop looking at death as something bad, because that's what we are indoctrinated to believe, death isn't bad. It's good. That's why he came here. You have to die here to go home. Yeshua showed us that. So, I hope some of you have better understanding. I hope I cleared some things up. Like, just doing my best to help people. If I help it, even just one. All right, love you guys. God bless you, and thanks for listening. God bless you all.